Hey, thank you for joining us for another episode of Your Health Moment. I'm your host, Dr. Fitness, and as always, we're going to discuss all things holistic health and wellness. And today will be no different. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki, and we're going to be discussing how your gut health may be responsible for brain fog, cancer, autoimmune conditions, cardiovascular disease, and even low energy if you're experiencing something like that. So I get to introduce Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki, who's created the Rutecki Method. It's a 30-day program that's specifically designed, to help you to transform your gut health in 30 days or less. Unlike other methods that you may have heard of, um, they're not as effective, and some can even make your symptoms worse. So the Rutecki method offers a complete long-term solution. And I am excited that Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki is here today. I appreciate you joining us, Dr. Rosemarie. I don't want people to forget your name, and I want them to be able to find you. So it's Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki, the Rutecki Method. So why don't we start by having you tell us a little about yourself and what you do, Doc?
Thank you so much, Max, for having me today. I am so excited. I am Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki, and I'm a pharmacist, and I'm also a board certified functional medicine practitioner. And I help people transform their health starting from their gut. So when we work in our gut health, we get, as you said, more energy. We're more productive. I work with a lot of high performers that they need, and everybody's a high performer, right? We should all strive to want to be healthy and do stuff and have our 100% our brain and energy just to live life to the fullest.
That's just so true. Hey, thank you very much. And I agree with everything that you're saying. We all really should performing at a high level. But there are some listeners out there, Doc, that have no idea when we mention gut biome, what we're even talking about. Can you kind of give us a little bit of an education on what is gut health?
Yes, what is so the gut microbiome is the combination of all your friendly bacteria. We have viruses, we have tons of things in our gut, and they live happy there. And what they do, they keep us healthy. So 80% of our immune system is in our gut. We also have the gut microbiome and brain connection. So we make a lot of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, or epinephrine in our gut. So if we're not eating for our gut's going to get sad, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
we're going to feel that way. Okay. And also the gut microbiome, all that combination of friendly gut bacteria that we have there, their function is to digest the food so we can absorb the nutrients, and that all the nutrition will go through our cell membranes. So then
Oh,
we're going to
that.
be healthy, right?
Oh, yeah,
So,
that's fantastic.
yes.
What a
So
great description.
thank you. So that's why it's
So,
important to
I'm
eat
sorry.
for the gut. So that way, if we're eating food that is not what our gut microbiome wants, then the gut microbiome is going to be hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And when the gut microbiome is hungry, it's going to be looking for food. And when it doesn't find it, then that's when we start seeing disease.
Oh, no, got you. So, what I hear you say, because I'm a little bit slower than you, Doc. What I hear you say is there is friendly bacteria that live in our gut and on us, and there are unfriendly bacteria that live in our gut and on us. And they're constantly at war. And the one that wins that war is the one you feed. So if you give your gut the food if you feed the friendly bacteria that are in your gut, they're going to do a much better job with your immune system, with their fight to help you to digest and process food and things that you need to run properly. But if you don't feed them and you feed the other side, the unfriendly bacteria, viruses, and candida and yeasts, then what happens is they win this proverbial war of your body, and they don't really care about your body. They don't care about your immune system. They don't care about making sure you get nutrition. They just kind of care about themselves.
Yes.
And so we definitely want to make sure that we learn how to feed the ones that are our team so we can win this war that's always raging instead of feeding the ones that are out to get us. Is that a good recap of what you said,
Yeah,
Doc?
that's a good, yeah, I like the way that you put it in your own words, right? So yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
gotta feed the good ones so they win, right? They are like the kind of like our castle, protecting our universe. They're protecting us. And then when we're not feeding them, then we can see an overgrowth of yeast. And then we see a lot of people that have yeast overgrowth when they take a lot of antibiotics or they take a lot of pain medications or they take a lot of antacid medication or they're in a lot of stress, then we're feeding all of these bad bacteria, also having low stomach acidity. So that's what we start. The gut microbiome doesn't start in the gut, it starts in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So we have also gut microbiome in our oral cavity,
Mm-hmm.
and that's also connected through our gut. So going to the dentist, having good oral health, checking that we don't have any periodontal disease is important to protect our gut microbiome, our whole system too. Chewing the food. Sometimes we're eating so fast that we just swallow the food. We don't chew. So the action of chewing the food create, mastication, increase the stomach acidity, send signals for our, to have more digestive enzymes so we can digest the food. So if we're eating on the TV or, eating very fast, not paying attention to the food that we're having, then we're not preparing the whole system to receive the food.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's another really great point.
Yes.
So
And
that chewing
also
process,
is
yeah, is
very
vital.
vital. And then there's another process that happens in our gut that is called the migrating motor complex.
Mm-hmm.
And that migrating motor complex is kind of like a sweeping system, kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
lady that is cleaning. So after we eat, we need about 3 hours to let that system start cleaning, and then digesting and moving the food towards the colon so we can excrete it. If we're constantly eating and snacking, right, and not giving our body that break in between meals, like at least 3 hours in between, we're
Mm-hmm.
stopping the migrating motor complex to receive more food. And that creates a lot of gut issues too. Okay.
Oh,
So that's a good one too. Right. So
okay.
we start with the mouth, our oral health. We eat, we ensure that we have good stomach acidity to digest the food. Stomach acidity protect us from all this overgrowth also from coming from parasites, from H. pylori. If we have a change in our gut acidity, it's kind of like that police officer is not there anymore. And then the
Mm-hmm.
door is open, right? Because then the stomach is going to let everything go inside our intestines.
I love it. I love it. Um, so there's so many there's we could always break this down, and I think I love the way the doc is really handling this. She's starting at the mouth where all the things that are so important to get done with your mouth. So if you have dental issues, if you have if you tend to eat really quickly, um I think, reaching out and learning more about the Rutecki method is something you really should do. So just those two things, if you're wondering if your dental health is the right dental health for you, how can you tell that? That would be probably a really good reason that you should reach out to Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki and learn more about step one, even because
Yes.
there are various steps that you'll need to really understand. But hey, starting at the beginning is always a good place to start, from the things that you're just putting into your mouth and how you're managing them. So if you're not sure if the food that you're eating is helpful to your gut, it's a great reason to reach out and give more. I wish I had all day to talk to Dr. Rutecki, but she's very, very busy. But she's going to have time for you. And all you need to do is reach out, go to the show notes, check out the offerings that Dr. Rutecki has. And I think you're going to be really appreciative that you took the time to listen to this. So we're going to continue on with Dr. Rutecki. And mind you, if you're just turning or you just started to listen to us, I'm speaking with Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki, who's created her Rutecki Method, Now, what inspired you, Doc, to create the Rutecki Method?
Oh,
What
thank
can
you.
you tell me about that?
Well, the Rutecki method is the combination of all the years of that I have been working in functional medicine, and I have been in the healthcare system for 21 years. And I always see that for a lot of people, it's a struggle to start. Right? And then we always have to start from the beginning and learning the basics in order to improve our health. And we can make functional medicine more affordable because right now it's not covered by insurance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody can afford it. So I decided to create an online course that people can just log in from their computers, their phones, and start learning, right, the foundational work to improve our health. Because we don't need a lot of expensive stuff to be healthy. We have to start with the foundational work. I
Mm-hmm.
even have people that come to me with taking peptides or doing very expensive things or hormone replacement therapy, and they haven't done the foundational work. That's why they still don't feel good, even though they're
Mm.
spending thousands of dollars biohacking with a lot of equipment, tons of supplements are very expensive. But if you don't work on the nutrition, feeding the gut microbiome what it needs, and doing the foundational work first, doesn't matter what you do if you don't, the foundation of the home is the most important thing. Your cell membranes, your gut microbiome, feeding the gut. The gut is happy, then everything is going to work. And you're going to notice that it's going to be easier to work in other systems, like, for example, your hormones, right? A detoxification once your gut microbiome is solid.
So, Doc, what are some of the signs that your gut microbiome is not really working the way it's supposed to, that maybe you need to really tighten up and change a few things? Is there some signs like, hey, what will I notice?
Great question, Max. So one of the first ones will be, of course, having digestive issues, gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea. Okay. Some people tell me, oh, I go to the bathroom every 2, 3 days. And I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. We should go to the bathroom every single day, a good bowel movement that you feel complete. That means that our system is working. We detoxify when we go to the bathroom, right? And if we're not going to the bathroom, that creates a backlog of toxins, excess estrogen for females that can turn into issues with their menstrual cycle, PMS, a lot of bleeding when we have a lot of estrogen. And then for guys, more estrogen means less testosterone, more abdominal fat, right? Those could be signs of having issues with your gut because the gut pretty much get rid of excess estrogen in the body. That's the
Wow.
connection
So,
with the gut and the hormones. Okay, so you go ahead.
oh, yeah, I was saying, so if you're noticing that you have a gut, I mean, this is something you should really look into,
Yeah.
as I
Being
think I heard.
tired. Yeah. Being tired, fatigue, not thinking straight, not sleeping well. All those are signs also of gut microbiome dysfunction, having an autoimmune condition. A lot of autoimmune conditions starts from the gut microbiome. There's a lot of bacteria that have been related to autoimmune conditions like Klebsiella, for example. In
Mm-hmm.
patients that have rheumatoid arthritis, they tend to have that in their gut. Many things. H. pylori can also be connected to thyroid issues. So if you have any autoimmune condition, any issues with your heart, with your cholesterol, I would say like everything is connected to your gut. So if there's something happening with your health right now, work with your gut microbiome, even if you don't have the physical digestive symptoms of diarrhea, constipation, bloating. You can go to the bathroom every day and think, oh, I don't have any digestive issues. But if you have an autoimmune condition, then you have a gut microbiome issue.
So, so if you're not familiar with autoimmune condition, Doc, what would an autoimmune condition be? Arthritis, or are there some others that you can?
Yes. So autoimmune conditions are when your body attacks itself. The immune system is confused and start attacking itself. Okay. So let's say, for example, Hashimoto's is a condition of the thyroid where the immune system attacks the thyroid. Okay. Rheumatoid arthritis is another autoimmune condition where the body start attacking the joints. Okay.
Hmm.
There's so many autoimmune conditions. There's psoriasis, attack your skin. Crohn's, colitis is an attack to the gut, directly to the gut. And we have found a lot of research that your gut microbiome, leaky gut, all that is connected and could be the starting point of an autoimmune condition. Okay. So
Oh,
working with
yes.
the gut, we can stop the progression of an autoimmune condition, right? It's not
Hmm.
that we're going to cure it. In a lot of cases, people like get really good and they reverse, but they still have to be vigilant, because if they stay out of track, the autoimmune condition will flare up again. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, that's fantastic. So that's really good to know. So psoriasis, different types of skin conditions. So exploring your gut biome and making sure it's correct is really a good thing to do. Now, correcting it, and making sure that my gut biome has a lot of different species of uh is it flora, or is it positive or friendly bacteria?
Friendly
What are
bacteria, friendly flora. Yeah.
hmm So if we want to make sure it does, how can we make sure that we have a large spectrum, so different types? Because I'm assuming we need a lot of different types of friendly bacteria in our war. It's like if you're fighting an army, you need planes, you need tanks, you need soldiers, you need missiles, you need a whole lot of different ordnance depending on the war you're fighting. So I'm assuming it's the same for the bacteria that would be living in us and on us.
100% diversity, good variety of commensal flora. It's very important, because the more friendly bacteria we have, the more flora we have, the stronger our immune system will be. Also, it's correlated with longevity. So people that are aging, they have low microbiome diversity, low flora. Okay, so we have to feed it. We have to feed it with
Interesting.
things that will make it grow all the time. Okay, things like fermented foods, tons of fiber from fruits and vegetables. Okay, the gut microbiome loves that. And our diet, unfortunately, the American standard diet, the standard American diet, I call it the sad diet. It's sad because it's
It
not
is.
feeding the gut microbiome, right? It's food. And before, when I was young, I didn't know any of this information. I was just thinking, well, food, calories, if I'm hungry, I eat. But now that I have all this knowledge and all the data and all the research showing how important is eating for the gut microbiome, by incorporating fiber with fruits and vegetables and fermented foods, I make that part of my diet.
Mm.
Okay. So it's like, if I eat all that, then I indulge myself with something sweet, because I already fed my gut microbiome.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yes.
So do your rewards after you feed your good army, but don't spend your life eating the things that aren't feeding your friendly bacteria, because something's getting fed when you ate, and it's just not the bacteria that are there to help you.
Exactly. Yeah, you want
And
to
I,
feed the good ones.
yeah.
You don't want to keep the good ones hungry, because that's when disease start happening. Like, for example, a lot of people can have, this is a condition that is called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and pretty much,
Mm.
I don't know, I would say like maybe, I don't want to guess, but it's a lot of people. There's a big percentage, especially people that are diabetic. They have a
What
SIBO.
what are the
So
symptoms, Doc,
so
of that?
symptoms is, so the way it starts is the bacteria of the colon, of your large intestine, moves up to the small intestine because it's hungry. Okay.
Oh.
And then, because it's not in the right environment, that bacteria should be living in the colon, not in the small intestine. It creates a hell of an imbalance in your gut. A lot of
Oh.
bloating, a lot of gas, a lot of it. For some people, could be constipation. For some people, could be diarrhea, and it's very difficult It's not difficult. It's challenging to treat when you have a lot of overgrowth that is not supposed to be there, right? So to
Mhm.
tame that bacteria down, it takes some time and diet, and it's a struggle for a lot of people. So that's what we have to think in terms of, like, if we feed our gut microbiome with the stuff that the gut microbiome needs, then you're not going to have to worry about these issues, okay? Of potentially having your gut microbiome so hungry and starving that it's going to move up to look for food.
Oh, that's fantastic. So So if someone listening now, they can reach out to you to get a better understanding of the foods they really need to eat, like the fermented fruit foods. Because if you're not really familiar with them, reaching out to Doc, you'll be a little more familiar with fermented foods that you could have. And because a lot of us off the top, what we think sauerkraut and maybe kimchi, but not too many people reach out for kimchi. Some of those fermented foods really require you get used to the taste, so to speak. Has that been your experience, Doc? Or when you
Yes,
started eating fermented
yes.
stuff, you were like, "Yummy! This is great."
No, when I started eating them, I remember throwing away a couple of bottles because I didn't like it. I'm like, I can't eat this. And then I started eating more research and more research. I'm like, I have to eat it. So I started, and that's why I tell everyone, start with 1 tablespoon or at least a teaspoon with every meal. And
Oh, that's a good idea.
you're gonna acquire a taste eventually. So buy something small. I remember I bought a big one, and I'm like, and I felt so bad because I threw it away because I couldn't eat it. So buy something small, add a tablespoon or a teaspoon with every meal, and you're gonna find that you're gonna like it. Now I love it. Now, if I go out of town and if I don't have for my fermented foods, I'm missing it. My gut microbiome is like, "Where's my fermented foods? Like, give it to me." And it's the less expensive way to increase your commensal flora because there's a lot of probiotics out there that are very expensive and they don't work as good as fermented foods. You can
Oh,
even make fermented foods at home. You buy cabbage, salt, water, you let it, ferment for a couple of days, then you have your fermented foods. It's
oh,
not
wow.
only a
Okay,
difficult
so it's easy to make at home. And in your material with the Rutecki method, do you give instructions on how to make your own fermented foods at home?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's fantastic because I think some of the store-bought stuff is kind of pricey too. So being able to make it at home sounds really great. And what I find, I do eat some fermented foods and I tend to mix them with other things. Like I'll put it with rice or put it with other vegetables and the taste kind of blends in.
Yeah. I do
And
the
it,
same thing. I like to mix it up with my meat and my veggies. It's just like
yeah,
weird. It's so good.
then I can do it better when I mix it. um, thank you for that. So definitely, being able to make my own would be a much better experience. So you can determine what's in it too, because I get nervous about buying processed foods of any kind because I'm not exactly sure all the time what's in it and how it's going to impact my gut. So being able to, you know, make that kind of thing yourself does sound like a really good plan.
Yes. I like making my own food too. There's nothing better than eating from home. You spend less money, you feel great, and it's just good for you.
I was also wondering because we're this is such a great topic talking about the gut biome and how it's connected to so many facets of our health and most of us really just don't have a clue because unfortunately most of us don't have access, it seems, to functional medicine. We tend to have more access to traditional medicine sources. And so if we're not feeling bad, I mean, there's a place, of course, I think, for all medicine. So I'm not
Of course, yeah.
discounting traditional medicine, but um, sometimes I think we go there first and don't realize that, they treat symptoms more than they really go to the root causes of problems like functional medicine does. So, Doc, what are your thoughts and what do you recommend for people? Because now, hey, if I have something going on with my gut, I think, uh, should I go to a functional medicine doctor or do I go to my GI guy from the start,
From the start.
or both?
Yeah, well, yeah, it depends because if you're, let's say that you have some rectal bleeding or you're, having some other big issues, a history of colon cancer in your family, of course, you
Mm,
want to be proactive and go to gastroenterologist to check because, you want to know that and be sure that everything is right and there's nothing there to worry about. And if you go and they check you, which is you most, the cases, right? You go to the gastroenterologist, and most of my clients that work one-on-one with me, they have visited so many specialists. And I like that, right? Because then I feel that, okay, so we cover all the bases. Now let's just work on the things that it's my work, right? Nutrition, lifestyle, feeding your gut microbiome. And feeding your gut microbiome with the right things can also help you prevent colon cancer, because a hungry gut microbiome that doesn't have the, butyrate's your fuel, that it gives, it's the fuel for your colonocytes, for what lives in the colon, right? And that's formed by fermenting the food. So fermented foods have a lot of butyrate, fiber, your gut digests it and creates a lot of butyrate. All those things prevent colon cancer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So being proactive, working on your gut, eating the right things, and also getting tested. I test some test that checks your stool microbiome. And so I can see what's in there. Do you need more commensal? Do we need to work on your commensal flora? Do you have an overgrowth that we need to work on? Do you have parasites? You don't have enough digestive enzymes. Are you absorbing fat or not? All those issues we look in a test, so we can see what's happening in your gut. But definitely a combination of traditional medicine and functional medicine should be the way to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always be sure that you get tested, that they check you. And if they say, oh, you're totally fine, then come to. And then I work with people. I always tell them, continue with your primary care doctor. You're not going to leave your primary care doctor. You're going to go for your physicals. And then what I guarantee people is, like, if you do their work, you will only need to go to the doctor for physicals a year, because you're going to be healthy. And that's when you work on the foundation.
That's brilliant, because there is a place in that balance, I guess, of both is really an art. But it's just so necessary, because I can't see one without the other at this point in my life.
I'm the same way. I am. When I was in my 30s, said like 10 years ago, I was suffering with a lot of digestive issues, a lot of fatigue, a lot of brain fog. I couldn't sleep. I was having hot flashes. I was pretty much feeling menopause on my 30s. And I am seeing that a lot with younger people.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the doctor, and they're like, well, you're fine. There's nothing with you. I'm like, there's something with me. I feel terrible. And that's how I found functional medicine, by me being proactive and looking. But if I would stay, just them telling me there's nothing with me, or if I would keep going to other doctors, maybe I would end up in antidepressants. A lot of females and a lot of people, doctors, sometimes they don't know what to do with you, and they just prescribe you something just to give you something, when in reality,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the root cause. They're just patching the symptoms with a medication. So I'm happy that I was able to found functional medicine, because I was able to, and now I feel better than in my 20s. I have more energy, I have more drive, I have more libido, I have more hair, my skin looks good. And that all starts in your gut microbiome. Also, the gut microbiome is connected to your skin. So if you want to look younger, working your gut microbiome is going to make you look younger too.
Wow. So, Doc, if someone wants to reach out to you to take the tests so we can determine what's going on with their gut biome, what do you recommend?
They can reach out to me through my website,
Okay.
drrosemarierutecki.com. I'm also in social media, LinkedIn and Instagram at Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki. So it's very easy to find me, and I will give you all the information too. And I'll give you also the link for the course, so your listeners can enjoy $10 off from the course. That is a $97. Super accessible, affordable, for people to start improving their health.
Oh, that's fantastic. So go to the show notes. You'll get the link. Or if you text me, I'll make sure you get the link as well. And you can text me at 904-236-5858. That's 904-236-5858. I'll make sure you get the link to the doctor. Why am I calling the doctor? To the Rutecki Method program. So you can get that link. So, Doc, I really appreciate you joining us today. The information you shared, I think everyone needs to know, and I think everyone needs to know what's going on with their gut biome. whether they believe there are issues there happening or not. I think just getting a baseline with your gut biome is a really important thing to do. So thank you very much for sharing this information. Is there one more thing you'd like to share, Doc, before we go?
I want to say thank you for having me. And I want to tell people that they don't have to continue to struggle. They can get better. But you have to work hard for it, right? That you have to make your health a priority. Sometimes people don't want to invest in their health and they invest in things like a car or a purse or clothes or things that are not going to get you where you want to be because you're pretty much neglecting yourself. And you have to come from a place of love, of loving yourself before anything else. Because when you're good, when you feel good, you can give all that to others. If you're pouring from an empty cup, and that's what's happening with this society, we're all burned out. We're all tired. We are fatigued. We're neglecting our children. We're neglecting our partners. We're seeing a high increase in divorce, in parents not being present with their kids, people not happy at work, and the only person that can give you happiness is yourself. So you have to start by loving yourself first, investing in your health. So then what's going to come out from you will change everything in the world, starting with your family and your loved ones.
Wow. Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki, thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in for another episode of Your Health Moment. I'm your host, Dr. Fitness, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again next week. Take care and bye for now.
Bye-bye.